Hello class. This video is going to touch on chapters 4 through 6 and chapter 8. Chapter 4. Some of this is going to seem a little redundant to you. You've touched on a little bit of it, and you've also looked at the court system PowerPoint. But when you look at chapter 4, what I want you to focus on is this. Know the different articles as far as the book lays them out. Article 1 being Congress, Article 2 being the executive, and Article 3 being the judiciary. Also, make sure you take a look at two other items. One, the Commerce Clause, and two, the Equal Protection Clause. The Commerce Clause is big for businesses because over the last 50 years or so, what we've seen is the Commerce Clause, which was very narrow, be expanded out so businesses can be regulated, and then it slowly started to be narrowed again by the courts. To give you an example, prior to the use of the Commerce Clause, you had, for instance, a case called Katzenbach. It's also referred to as Ollie's Barbecue. Before the use of the Commerce Clause, Ollie's Barbecue had a restaurant in Georgia, and they were segregating. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was attempted to be used to desegregate the restaurant, and Ollie's Barbecue said, you can't do that to us. We're only doing business in state, therefore the feds have no control over us. The court held that the Commerce Clause allows the government to regulate the business because it is going to bleed across state lines and impact interstate commerce ultimately. There are many other cases after that, but that's just to give you one example of what really started the ball rolling on the Commerce Clause. So know the Commerce Clause, know the Dormant Commerce Clause. Also on the 14th Amendment, or the Equal Protection Clause, understand that the Equal Protection Clause is used as a conduit to apply the Bill of Rights to the states. It's also used in many other ways to ensure that people are treated equally. Notice I did not say well, I said equally. If you look at a case like Bush versus Gore from the election, what you're going to find is the argument was, by the court, equal protection was not provided. That everybody had to have the same standard applied to them, regardless of how good or bad it was. Chapters 5 and 6 are going to move you into torts. Know the elements of your torts. For example, know the elements of assault and intentional tort. Know what transferred intent is. That if I, A, attempt to commit a tort against B, even if I miss B and I hit C, that still counts. My intent transfers. On negligence, know that it's duty, breach, causation, and damages. Under causation, on the content section of Blackboard, I have added a web video for the Paulsgraph case, which is what created what we refer to as proximate causation. Watch that video. It's very helpful, especially if you don't understand it when you read it in the book. When you then move into products liability, again, the elements are important, but know the difference between manufacturing design and manufacturing defects. I'm sorry, design defects and manufacturing defects. Design defects mean it was wrong by how we planned to do it, and the manufacturing defect means it was wrong because we made a mistake independent of the plans on how we were going to make it. Again, I'm just giving you some basics here, some things to focus on. This is not an in-depth discussion on any of these items. And then finally, when you get to Chapter 8, criminal, make sure you know the elements. Also, as a part of that, your discussion board asks you to give some thought to whether corporations should be subject to criminal liability, or should it just be their officers. So as you're reading the chapter, give some thought to that and ask yourself what you think. That way you can comment on the discussion board and have something useful and contribute properly and get the points that you need. Okay, this video, again, is under course contents, so hopefully you're going to watch it. If you have any questions as you go through the content, don't hesitate to call me or email me. My email is nicholas.martino@fscj.edu. Email me directly. Do not send a message through Blackboard. Blackboard is the black hole of messages. Have a good week and enjoy the reading.